can hit record. It's recording now.
Oh, okay. We got to make sure they can see our illustrious president there.
Not have your drink.
We'll do an advertisement. Sponsored by.
Yes, it's a sponsorship. Oh, okay. Thanks.
We are out of executive session at 1:08. We are about to continue our meeting. It's 1:08. The next item on the agenda is our discussion item. It's a discussion item number 9. I'll turn that over to our superintendent.
Okay. I'm sorry, I was signing this. Item number 9 is the review of the district's accreditation status. As the board is aware in the community that we are accredited warned. And so this is basically just a meeting to discuss some of the things that we've done to address the issue. As you know that accreditation are given based on finances and academic. We basically right now, the reason that we are accredited warned is because of the 2 strikes that we've received, one academically for the first school year 2013-2014, and a district can only receive 1 strike every year. One thing that we learned is that since our first report was we actually got the rating in 2014-15 school year that counts against that second year. So we received a strike that first year because the district did not meet academic standards. In year 2, we got the strike because of we did not meet standard on our first report. Therefore, we currently have 2 strikes and are under accredited warned status. We feel confident moving forward that our district's going to be successful academically and financially based off of our data. We've made a lot of changes to address in both areas. One area is speaking to the academic side of it. We have developed a scope and sequence. We have hired in additional support content coaches to support our teachers and model for them as well. We have developed assessments, both curriculum assessments and district benchmark assessments that we give students. We also purchased a program to assist us with analyzing our student data called DMAC. So teachers are able to see how students are doing academically. We're able to then look at different subgroups. We're able to then pull students that are performing at those higher levels and to identify those and communicate those to teachers and students and parents. We're able to identify those students that are performing in the lower tiers that need additional support as well. So that kind of speaks to the improvements we've made to address our academic performance. I do want to note in 2000 and last year, which would be the 2000 and what school year? 2014-15 school year, we did meet standard as a district. So we have already seen those improvements since the first year of not meeting the academic standard. And also when we look at our accountability standards when it comes to finances, we have hired Mark Parkerson has assisted us along with select others to monitor our finances, and we work closely again with the university now. We understand that there are areas that we will not be able to based on the way that the report is written to be able to meet, but we feel confident moving forward that we will meet and pass our first report rating. We also have met with TEA to discuss these issues with them and to develop a plan to address it moving forward. So we feel confident, and as the school superintendent, that I feel like that academically we're going to see that improvement and enough improvement to far exceed meeting standard, and I feel like that we're going to meet our financial first report. And so therefore, if we do meet those 2 things this school year, then the 2015 school year, we would not basically have a clean slate. Does anybody have any questions about our accredited warned status?
How soon do we find the data? I guess, are we looking at April to know what the results are?
You know, that's interesting to ask Dr. Lamb, because this year we will not actually get star results because of the math standards, because the state's not going to set the standards for math until later. It's my understanding campuses will not be contacted until early August. Is that correct?
August 8th.
Yeah, August the 8th.
So it's not going to happen, but there is a small chance. Not going to happen. Don't even jinx it by saying it. Is that what you're telling me?
No. So we won't know until August
But
the
there is
8th.
there is a backup plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
This worst case scenario, we have a plan.
We have a plan.
We have a plan to address it.
So you
So,
say
but
hook 'em horns.
we do feel very confident that the district's going to be successful in both areas. And one thing that we did learn from, again, that I've addressed with the board from TEA is they're big supporters of university charters and really want to see them grow. There's currently only 6 in the state. And they would love for us to be an advocate and work with other universities to encourage them to pursue university charter.
But I will say we're breaking new ground because almost all of our elementary schools, we're the first ones that have done middle and high school. And there's another one that does high school, but it's not real high school because it's a residential drug treatment center. And it's really a credit recovery setup. So we in the College of Ed, and I've been meeting with some faculty, we're going to have to be very careful about the laboratory things we want to do to make sure they don't negatively impact we just have to be a little less risk. We need to be risk averse to some extent.
Not be innovative with it.
We have to temper our wants for innovation against, hey, you know me, I'm outside the box all the
We
time.
should
So,
respell innovative.
yeah, we're going to have to, but we're going to have to be a little more tempered in how we do things just because the stakes are so high on charters.
Okay.
I agree.
Any questions about our accredited warrant status? Okay, so we're going to move to the superintendent's report at this time. So we've got the 2015-16 enrollment timeline. I did want to share this with the board. I want to send a shout out to Jama and her staff. They've created a timeline. This timeline has been posted to the website, in that we've also communicated this timeline to other individuals as well. But as you can see, it basically lays out the timeline for our lottery. Also, we did mail out letters this week to all current families requesting that if they are returning or not, so that we can begin to develop a list of our number of students that are returning by grade level, and then to be able to figure out the lottery of how many students we actually have, how many vacancies we have per grade level as well. So you do have a copy of that in your board documents. And so you can see that this week that we show that we will be sending out commitment letters, and those have already been done. All our commitment letters are due on March the 27th. And lottery will be April the 3rd, and you can see there's also a tentative timeline for other events throughout the summer as well. So this was just kind of something I wanted to share with the board to let you know that our lottery is scheduled, and we currently at this time have 112 students on our waiting list. So we're really excited about that.
Quick question. Since this is going to become an approved tentative schedule, can it be put online for those to recruit new students as a tentative unapproved?
Yeah, in fact, I have to apologize to the board. I left this item off the agenda we are working on our 2015-16 school year calendar. And so we will probably need to look at some way of maybe trying to get this approved. We do have an April meeting that's coming up in just a week or two. But basically, we will be sending out, Dr. Lamb, a copy of the approved calendar along with informing parents at the extended school day. So we will get that out.
I guess I just say that because the lottery is April 3rd, and those that would be involved in the lottery, would the calendar be sticking point for people not to be in the lottery, or do you?
Well, we aligned the calendar with the draft of the calendar is aligned with the university and most of the larger local school districts in all 3 areas. So it's pretty closely aligned.
I guess communicating with those. Is this online right now?
No,
No.
but it can be.
Can it be on as a temporary or tentative calendar for the year until we as a board approve? approved.
And that's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we could actually put it maybe online and put it as a draft, right draft across it,
The big thing, like I said, is that
or proposed.
is rescheduling of bad weather days so that they don't take away Memorial Day, because those become attendance day problems too.
As far as curriculum updates, as we've addressed on numerous occasions, we are looking at data. We're breaking it down by student and identifying the areas the students need support. We are serving students through extended day at this time on all 3 campuses, and even pulling in additional support staff as well to support those students. So I feel very confident that those students are getting that support that they need.
Can I ask a general question about curriculum? Just the interdisciplinary project-based learning. Do you see a difference in this year than last year? Yes. How do you see that difference?
Well, when the school started, we tried to make every project include all 4 subjects, and maybe even some elective subjects. Last year we kind of went away from that a little bit and started exploring some more options where some of them were interdisciplinary when the teams aligned right, but sometimes they were more just subject specific. This year, with the way the scope and sequences were made, and the sequences that math went in, math is mainly doing PRBLs now, so they're really not heavily focused in any project except
That's problem-based learning.
Right, sorry. Except when science sees a natural fit with that, and then the science teacher has been bringing in math teachers naturally. And then this year, a lot ELA and social studies have blended up more. Now, at times, they've done one where all 3 have felt good, but the way the scope and sequences have lined out, they don't always all fit.
I say this only as a parent. We're not advertising in my household anymore. We're on PBL 8 or PBL 5, and it's the big interdisciplinary. Now he's presenting in one class today and presenting the next one tomorrow, and the next class the next day. And
what we found was when they were always all interdisciplinary like that, one subject was always outshining the others, and some subjects weren't able to go as deep into the content as we would have liked because it was really masked and just kind of shoved to fit together because it's superficially fit.
It's funny, John, is I do the evaluation for new tech schools for across the country, and we have naturally, without any coaching, because that's kind of what they do. So I think they learn this lesson as well in their development. Language arts and social studies go well together, math and science sometimes, but the more technical the subject, the less you can try to, otherwise you water down that subject. But it's just kind of funny how because I sit and look at the reports that Eric Stocks and I do for this, and it's like, wow, we just on its own, it's drifting that direction, and it's a function of state requirements. It has nothing, there's no real other reason for it.
Okay, so I show our next board meeting is April the 3rd. So during that time, I will probably have a draft of the schedule for the board to review.
April 2nd.
April 2nd, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong date then. 2nd. Thanks for, and then also we will look at creating our board schedule for the next school year. One thing I would like to propose to the board is looking at, and we talked about this, maybe every other month meeting instead of meeting every single month, that we could look at meeting every other month. And so something that we might consider as we look at our upcoming board schedule.
Are you going to put a draft in the next meeting about that?
Yes, we can talk about it, but that's just something that
if we did something like that, could we we start the meeting at 11 and then end at 1 and kind of have a longer month in the middle?
Yeah, we can look at some options.
Because I would think that if you're doing it every other month, you may have more things on.
That's what we're hoping, that because I'm thinking that we have several members that drive over, and there's sometimes that we just have 2 or 3 things, but I think if we could cluster them together and really prepare ahead, and if we know that we have one meeting that's coming up, we should be able to get those things all covered in one meeting versus trying to pull people away every other month.
And another suggestion, especially with high school starting, I think we should at least do one meeting every year on each campus.
Okay.
I mean, we need to go down. Marty should get to stay home once. And you should be able to stay home once.
I mean, their driving is gonna have a job.
Yeah, but I'm just
You're
saying.
still gonna drive 2 hours. 1 month, you're gonna drive 2 hours. And now you're increasing.
But I just think it would also be good because I think as
Yeah, we thought
With-
about doing that too.
I just think back to being a high school teacher and all the other things that are going to come up that we think we've planned for that are probably not, that aren't there. You know, I just think there are going to be questions of parents, and they should at least get access once a year to
I
face
think
to
it'd also
face.
be good for us to see the campus.
Yeah, I think that would be good too.
We didn't do, and maybe you did before I got here, the enrollment. Did you?
Yes. Did you all get that in your packet?
Yeah,
it's the last page.
Yes. I'm sorry. I think we're at 488
88.
right now, and like I said, we have 112 on the waiting list. That's been a decision that we've made not to accept any additional students. We did accept one student that was an employee student. We have a new diagnostician, so we do have a new student here in Tyler. But other than that, we feel like that we need to hold off on accepting students until the lottery for the next school year. So that's where our current
For next year.
580.
580.
Basically, that'll put us where we started it this year.
And the students that we have on the waiting list, we have already taken an extra step, and I should say the directors, they have met with majority of these students and families to talk to them about the school. And, after reflecting with them, every student has not turned in an application. So the directors are being very honest with the families and students to say, this is what we're built on. This is our model. This is our school, giving them opportunity to visit. We're also talking about doing a buddy day here on each campus where parents and other community students can come in and mirror another student to get a feel for it. But we really want to educate our incoming students about the school. And so we feel confident. What I'm saying is that the students that are on our waiting list are very strong applicants.
Along those lines of like the buddy day, I've been part of this for several years and was completely blown away when I went to Waxahachie Global High School. Blown away in a great way. I'm very excited. I mean, if we can reach half of what they're doing there, I'll be.
That took 7 years to get there. Everybody needs to understand that.
Right, but I think I've had some parents say to me that, well, the kid who's going into 9th grade wants to go and check out the high school, the public high school. And great. I would love to be able to offer them, we get out at noon. If we could get over to Global Academy.
Take a field trip.
A field trip for the students.
Right.
And more parents should have gone. I thought I understood where we were going, but I was clueless really where we were going. After I saw Global Academy, it convinced me that this is the right path. And so I think if we could possibly do a better job advertising for parents.
I think
but also
Mr.
for
Snook would be open
our
to that.
Even if we showed up after their school gets out.
Yeah.
Because the kids hang around there
Oh, they're
for
there
an
all
hour
day.
and a half, and they have an interact group,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is, it would be community service. They could show the kids through the school. I think it would be a win-win.
And we're using their high school handbook to help us create ours.
Okay.
You went. What do you think?
Loved it. It's a great program.
I think it helps if people know the end sight in mind. Now, there are things they could do better. Don't
But
get me wrong.
I think, and I'm not trying, the two of us were probably the only two who haven't ever been to one. And so I thought I understood what we were aiming for. And then when I got there, I was just truly amazed at how good it is.
Yeah.
And I think most parents have kind of been blind faith in that this is where we're going. But, well, I guess maybe the three of us haven't ever been to one of these where everyone else has. I think most parents fall in our category. And for sure the students do. And so when they're going to go to the public high school and say, oh, well, look at the advantages of this, they don't know what we're
Be a good opportunity for them
to
to get
compare,
Oh, yeah.
to try to compare.
Well, maybe we should do a field trip, and maybe we could rent buses. But I've been working with that school since it opened, and I'll tell you, it got off to a kind of a rocky start as well.
Mhm.
when they change principal, it's amazing. Leadership changes make all the difference in the world sometimes. But what Mr. Snook has done the last 4 to 5 years, I mean, that's a world-class place. And it actually is a world-class place. It's U.S. News and World Report class place. Waxahachie, Texas. And half those kids don't come from Waxahachie. They're a lot like us. I mean, they're being pulled from Italy and Maypearl and Red Oak. And actually one of the parents at Longview would like to take a bunch of parents and their kids, more importantly. They want their kids to see it. And so it probably will have to be after STAR because they're doing into course exams, which are high stakes. But Mr. Snook is very accommodating.
I think it sells itself.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you walk out of there thinking, I'm not too sure if this is really where I want my kid to go,
then they shouldn't go there.
Then they
definitely should not go there.
I was truly impressed, and I think it would be a great opportunity for us to sell the idea in a more tangible way, in a more concrete way.
And I'm thinking, how early down? I mean, sure, any parent can go that wants to go, but we're really talking 7th and 8th grade parents, you think, or do we need to really think?
I would honestly, I would open it to everybody, but I would target those kids, those 7th and 8th grade kids, because they then can see, man, that then when I go to the public school, it's like, this is completely different.
Yeah, and it is a public school, so.
Well,
yeah.
You understand what
I
I
do.
mean. ISD.
Yeah, and they got, they have better facilities than we do, but compared to the regular high school, they got crappy facilities, I mean, so,
But I was very impressed, and I think it'll help us, with otherwise all of this, what we're talking about for us who haven't been to one, we're creating something in our mind, and then all of a sudden you see it, it's like, this is way better than what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Well, appreciate that
So-
feedback. Any other questions for me? At this time, I'm done with my report.
The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
I make a motion and he seconded it.
Yeah.